Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to be looking at the Jagdpanther and answering the question, was it actually any good? But before I get started, down below is a link to my Discord. Feel free to hop in, play a few matches with me, chat with me. I like meeting new people, so I look forward to y'all doing so. But back to the channel, was the Jagdpanther any good? Well, the story of the Jagdpanther has to go back to 1939 with the Germans actually looking to put the L-71 on a tank. They thought they would need it to knock out concrete bunkers, pillboxes, and they needed a big gun to do so. By 1943, they were finding some candidates to mount the tank on. By 1944, construction had actually started on the Jagdpanther, and I believe it's important to actually understand what the Germans thought about the doctrine of this tank should be. They did specifically said, this is not a tank or a tank to be used in normal tank actions. It's not a Panther. They saw this thing as a hunter killer. It was best used in anti-tank roles or spearheading tank columns on an assault. Now, we all know doctrine is one thing and how it's actually used is another. This tank did have some success on the Western Front. In one such engagement, it knocked out 11 Churchill tanks while only losing 2 Jagdpanthers, a healthy 5.5 to 1 kill ratio. The problem is those types of engagements were actually pretty rare for the Jagdpanther. It definitely struggled, but in the early reports of this tank in 1944 talked about poor reliability. Most of that was fixed by October, but some other issues were the tank actually would come under artillery fire after firing 1 or 2 rounds, and it was best to have pre-planned positions to fall back to that were in cover, and then scout for new positions on foot. And it also talked about that the radio should not be used on these tanks because the signals were being intercepted by British crews, and they were calling artillery on the positions of the Jagdpanther whenever it used its radio. So, what can I say about this thing? I think all this is the polite way of saying the tank was not flexible, and it struggled in certain engagements. It also, you know, when it was in a favorable position, was extremely deadly. You would not be like wanting to roll down a road in a Sherman and come across this thing. But fortunately for the Allies, they didn't have to do that very often, and the tank appeared to be pretty easy to outflank and outmaneuver. Ultimately, they just couldn't make enough Jagdpanthers to make a difference. I would actually argue they probably would have been better off making more Tiger IIs. It seemed to be a more effective tank, had a more impressive combat record than the Jagdpanther, but the Jagdpanther was easier to make and cheaper. So, yeah, take it as you want, but personally, I just don't think this is a very good tank. Now, how did this thing play in War Thunder? Well, all I can say is if you like a tank with high rate of fire, accurate gun, and good at knocking out enemy tanks, well, this might be the tank for you. Has very good frontal armor, at least. It will shrug off a few hits, and pretty easy to get a few kills in this thing once you kind of get the hang of the playstyle. So, yeah, if tank destroyers are your jam, take this thing out for a spin. But that's it, guys. Hope y'all have a good evening, and catch you in the next video.